San Francisco just wrapped up their 12th day of training camp, and we saw George Odom pick off 2 of Brock Purdy's passes, and we saw San Francisco's newly acquired running back Matt Breida have several nice runs. So in this video, I want to break down their performances among others. Starting out with Brock Purdy and his interceptions. His first came when he was targeting Jordan Mason down the field with a linebacker in coverage. But George Odom the entire time was reading Brock Purdy and was able to jump the route and get the interception. Purdy's next interception came on an overthrow when he was trying to target Deebo Samuel, but he led the wide receiver too far, leading it into George Odom's hands. Outside of these mishaps, the third-year play caller had himself a pretty nice day. He was able to hit Kyle Juszczyk on the sideline for a pretty big gain. He was also able to find Ronnie Bell with Renardo Green in coverage in the middle of the field, and Bell made an incredible jumping catch. But I'm sure the big story today will be about Brock Purdy's interceptions. But the fact is, Brian Griese and Brock Purdy both talked about this recently, and they said some days they're working on certain things in practice, or Brock Purdy is trying to be overly aggressive to see what he can get away with in the game. Right now, my prediction is Brock Purdy will continue to play at a high level throughout the rest of the season, despite his many detractors. But moving on to San Francisco's backup quarterback battle, Brandon Allen came out swinging, hitting Chris Conley on a deep 60-yard touchdown, with the wide receiver burning both the corners and the safeties on this route. He also found Jake Tonges on the sideline for a pretty big gain as well. But despite a couple of good throws, I still think Joshua Dobbs is winning this backup quarterback competition. Starting out his move the ball period, for instance, he hit 3 straight completions. He was also able to find Tate Martin deep down the sideline for a massive gain before leading his team in for a touchdown. On that play, he first pump faked to Cody Schrader in the flat, and then connected with Trent Taylor for the touchdown. Throughout this entire camp, I think Dobbs has shown he's the better quarterback between him and Allen, as well as offering more upside. But these preseason games will determine a lot. Whichever quarterback can lead a more efficient 49ers offense will win the job. Moving into San Francisco's running backs, with Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, and Isaac Ariendo all injured, San Francisco decided to sign Keyshawn Vaughn from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And with all those backs out, we saw Mason take the majority of first-team reps, but we also got to see Matt Breida and Cody Schrader in there. Throughout this practice and entire training camp, Mason has proven he's San Francisco's second best back on this roster. Today he had 7 rushing attempts and 2 passes caught. Due to how many reps he's getting with the first team offense and how many opportunities he's receiving, I'm not sure if Kyle Shanahan will actually play him during this first preseason game. He might be too valuable with all the other backs injured at this point. It would also give San Francisco more opportunities to examine Cody Schrader and Matt Breida. Matt Breida specifically had a couple of nice runs today, especially on the outside, showing off his 4.38 speed. As far as Cody Schrader goes, he's one of San Francisco's more consistent backs this entire offseason, and honestly, it doesn't surprise me he led the entire SEC in rushing during his time at Missouri. Today in one-on-ones though, he continued to show off he's not just a one-trick pony, as he beat Tatum Bethune pretty handedly. If Schrader doesn't make it on San Francisco's 53-man roster after this preseason, I expect he'll make it somewhere. Moving off San Francisco's running backs and into their tight ends, Jake Tonges had himself a day. He caught 4 passes in the team portion drills, and his best play probably came on that Brandon Allen pass to the sideline I was mentioning before. San Francisco's second-year tight end, Braden Willis, continues to look like one of the better options for San Francisco's tight end 2 job because he caught 2 passes in one-on-ones today. Moving off San Francisco's tight ends and into their wide receivers, Ronnie Bell has continued to put himself together a nice camp. His best play probably of the day came when Brock Purdy was targeting him in the middle with Renardo Green in coverage. Bell on this play had to make a pretty incredible leaping grab in traffic, but he made it look routine. As long as Bell's able to keep up this consistency he's shown this offseason, he should make San Francisco's roster. But it may also be San Francisco found their speedster in Chris Conley. Today that throw from Allen was all Conley. He was able to just dust this entire defense. And if Ayuk heads out, which seems likely, expect Chris Conley to see a significant increase in his reps this year. Moving off San Francisco's wide receivers and into their offensive line, Colt McKivitz gave up 2 sacks likely today, 1 to Nick Bosa and 1 to Leonard Floyd. Jalen Moore didn't fare too much better though, giving up sacks to Nick Bosa and also Yetur Gross-Matos it looked like. As far as San Francisco's interior looks like, like it does appear Dominic Pooney will be shaking things up and starting at right guard this year. Moving off San Francisco's offensive line and into their defensive line, Jordan Elliott didn't practice today, but Nick Bosa did, and he had 3 sacks. And San Francisco's other defensive ends they acquired this offseason in Yetur Gross-Matos and Leonard Floyd also had a sack today. As far as San Francisco's defensive tackles today, Evan Anderson and Kalia Davis both had nice one-on-one battles and both beat Kingston. I'm really excited to see what Evan Anderson can do during this preseason period. He's such a big-bodied player coming in at 326 pounds. If he can show off he can be an effective run defender for San Francisco, him alongside Jordan Elliott could help fill the hole left by DJ Jones. Anderson could prove he could be a DJ Jones type, which is something San Francisco has desperately been missing these last couple of years. As far as San Francisco's linebackers went today, Fred Warner sat out practice today with foot irritation. So San Francisco's starting linebackers today were Curtis Robinson, D. Winters, and Devondre Campbell. Probably the most impressive linebacker to me has been D. Winters. He does a great job in coverage as well as closing on the ball in the run game. If he's able to actually get on the field, his speed should help San Francisco's defense. Moving off San Francisco's linebackers and into their corners, Isaac Yiadom continued to miss practice today, meaning Renardo Green once again played with the starters, where he started both at that nickel back spot but also saw time on the outside. And today, he showed off why San Francisco drafted him, breaking up 3 passes. He's one of San Francisco's more aggressive corners, getting right up in the wide receiver's face and playing extremely sticky coverage. Green's best pass breakup of the day came on 3rd and 7 guarding Juwan Jennings. Brock Purdy was trying to hit the wide receiver on a crosser, but Green's coverage was too tight, breaking up the pass and ending the drive. Green's day wasn't perfect though, as he was called for holding on Ronnie Bell. Outside of Green, Ambry Thomas was also able to register a few pass breakups today, including one where he was in coverage on Deebo Samuel. Diamador Lenore also continued himself a pretty nice camp today, especially in his run fits, where he showed pretty nice aggression. On 2nd and 10, for instance, with Jordan Mason taking the ball, he was able to come up and stop him for only a gain of 3. But he didn't stop there, as he also showed off his special team ability, blocking a kick from Jake Moody. And I'm going to go over the special teams in a moment. Before that though, we're going to wrap up San Francisco's defense with the play of the safeties today. George Odom was obviously the standout player today with his 2 interceptions on Brock Purdy. Of his interceptions, his first one was more impressive to me. He was reading Brock Purdy the entire time, and then finally when Purdy triggered on Mason, he was right there to pick it off. He was also able to quickly identify Brock Purdy targeting Cody Schrader in the flat and stop that for a pretty minimal gain. As long as Odom continues this level of play, it's going to be extremely hard for Malik Mustafa to overthrow him as San Francisco's starter. Usually Kyle Shanahan likes to go with the veteran, and there's no reason to replace a veteran playing this well. But now moving off San Francisco's safeties and into their special teams, specifically their kicker, Jake Moody made 3 of his field goal attempts today, but he also had 1 blocked. What's concerning to me about Moody isn't his skill level, but his consistency. Robbie Gould was always gold is gold. Meanwhile, Moody had a pretty impressive rookie season, but he also missed some pretty vital kicks, including in the Super Bowl. And heading into the season, it's going to be interesting to see if he's actually able to settle down in those big time moments. But it's not a good sign for San Francisco that he's getting his kicks blocked. But ultimately, these are just some of my thoughts about players who stood out on day 12 of San Francisco's training camp, and I want to hear who you're excited to see headed into their first preseason game against the Tennessee Titans. It would also mean a ton to me if you liked and subscribed, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.